Welcome back. Real Talk Twin Cities. I'm Eric Purius, Eric the Lone Guy, Bell Mortgage, along with Cheryl Kempenick, Coldwell Banker Burnet, and Donna Quanrud, Coldwell Banker Burnet.
Hey,
We're the team.
we're back.
Yes, we're back. We're your team. All things real estate, buy, sell, refinance. We can help you. RealTalkTwinCities.com. And we are welcoming back our consistent guest and compadre in financial matters, Elise Jensen from Azure Wealth Management. Hi, Elise.
Hi.
Elise is going to help us with some tips and talk about creating your legacy. And then later, we're going to have sell fast, sell high, credit tips, ask the expert, and more. For now, let's talk to Elise. How's it going today, Elise?
It's going great. It's going very well. Thank you.
All right. So maybe there's some New Year's type things in as far as financial planning and advising that are pertinent for folks.
Finance and fitness are always the two that people, try to hit hard after the new year, right, guys?
Boy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Try being the operative phrase.
Try. So, with that in mind, I came prepared today to give everyone 5 financial tips for the new year that you can execute now.
Great.
And what's the result if you do this execution?
That you will have success throughout your year.
Meaning
So you can-
financial success.
Financial success, or you'll
Okay.
be on the path to financial success.
So more
Yeah, it's
money
not
in
going to
your...
happen overnight.
It's not going to happen overnight, but these are 5 things that you should be doing right now to prepare yourself for best possible outcome in 2015. So
More money in your pockets.
more money,
There
more
you
money.
go.
Taking notes.
So let's get right into it. Number 1, most importantly, set your annual budget. This goes in every aspect of your life, and very few people actually sit down and know more than their mortgage, their car payments, kind of the fixed expenses that you really should know as a functioning adult. But factor in the vacations, factor in the weddings or children's graduations or anything else. Just look over your whole year and plan. And that is a starting point for everything else, whether it be buying a home, knowing what you need to save for retirement, because you can't understand what you need to be putting aside if you don't have anything to put aside, or if you don't understand what kind of surplus or deficit you have at the end of each month. So number 1, set your budget. Number 2, get your legal documents in order. Very, very few people have this taken care of either. And it is vital to making sure that, again, you're protecting your family, you're protecting your assets, you're protecting your business. Make sure you have wills taken care of. Make sure you have powers of attorney and healthcare directives. And this is an important time of year because open enrollment is often this time of year. And many major employers now sponsor programs that allow you to take advantage of free legal advice if you simply check the box. So take advantage of it, even if it's a small amount monthly. A lot of the employer sponsored is about $11, $12 a month. It's totally worth it. Get it done, even if it's just a plain vanilla, you're not going to a really high quality attorney. It's better just to get something in place. And the good news about executing that early on is that most attorneys will update them for free ongoing, if not for a very small fee, because you probably won't have any major changes, at least in the foreseeable future. Next, update your beneficiaries. Have any of you ever had friends that get divorced and then something bad happens and they realize that their ex-spouse still has control over areas of their life?
Like your
as a
401k or something?
Yep. I see a lot of people actually forget to assign beneficiaries on 401ks.
And so what happens then? Are you kidding me?
Well-
Like, if I get divorced, my ex can get my...
Well,
What? No.
only if you've assigned her as a beneficiary, or him, in this day and age.
But even if you're divorced
So
and later on and they're the beneficiary and you die, they get it?
Yep. If you
Wow.
anybody that's listed as a beneficiary, that kind of takes precedent over other types of estate transfer or state laws.
Wow.
So yeah, you might forget about somebody, or even a good example is I just got married, and up until I was married, my parents were my legal beneficiaries because I have no children. I'd never had anybody important in my life that I wanted to leave my assets to, and if I pass away, I sure want to make sure that all those items are going to my husband,
Right.
not mom and
cared
dad.
for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if you're not married, that can be the case. If you're living with a partner in a home, and that home is your primary residence and you're contributing financially to it, make sure that your beneficiaries and your titles are updated so that things transfer the way you want them to, if something should happen.
Makes sense.
Another big one is make sure that your contributions to your retirement accounts have been updated, or to your medical accounts. The IRS increases limits, mostly every year. It depends on the type of account, but this year you can now put away $18,000 into your 401k, and the catch-up, so if you're over 50, you can put an additional 6. Now, IRA limits remain the same for this coming year. You can put $5,500 into an IRA, but just making sure again that you've gone in, if you manually set your contributions in different accounts to take out monthly drafts, go in and make sure that you've maximized what you can put away. It's better to put it in systematically throughout the year than getting to the end of the year and going, oh no, I can put how much more away? And then finally, meet with a financial advisor. It is an excellent time of year to establish a relationship. Reach out to me at Azure Wealth Management and get a free consultation. Very few advisors will charge you up front, just like realtors. You can work with us for free, and oftentimes you pay just as much in underlying fees to try to do it yourself, and you can make some very costly mistakes. So set your budget, update your documents and your beneficiaries, make sure your contributions are maximized, and meet with a financial advisor. And if you do all those things, then you'll be running on a road towards success for 2015.
Boy, that's some great advice. You know, the other thing I think about watching the stock market lately too is how many people are looking at their 401k and their investments and where is that money going?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to talk to you
Yep.
to go through and analyze what are you doing with those investments and should you be moving some of that money around?
Yep. Well, we were just talking before about your insurance, Cheryl, and how you didn't realize that even something like your auto insurance, you need to be comparing rates, and you need to be having somebody looking at these things that you trust. And it's funny because I actually have become very, very close friends with several of my clients over the years that, I had no relationship prior to working with me, and they love having me in their ring. They love having me on their side, not necessarily telling them what to do all the time, but giving them very educated recommendations that they can take. People assume that you have to take your hands off and just let an advisor make all the decisions. You can still have a lot of control in what you're doing. I'm just here as a resource.
Yeah, and you really want to protect your assets. I just had dinner with a client, and she was telling me about a relative that has a trust. And the trust was set up because it was money passed down to heirs, and there was really no will involved with that. And so the husband, whose the money was from his family, he died. And now the wife had a house and she had bills and she had no income. And there were no provisions in that trust to keep her going. And so she was at the point of having to file bankruptcy or sell the house to get the equity out when there's all this money in the trust, and the trust is going to go straight to their kids.
Isn't it
and
scary?
she gets nothing.
Well, laws change so regularly annually, especially in the areas of tax and estate planning. You have to have somebody that's up to date on current tax code, on current laws, on current residency. That's when I see a lot too in Minnesota. Minnesota's throwing a whole lot of residency requirements out there, including but not limited to your primary residence is where your advisors are. And so when you have people that are summering in spending time in Arizona, have second homes, and they're trying to move their primary residence to a state that has more beneficial regulations, if you're still working with me up here in Minnesota, that can be detrimental to your residency. Likewise, we don't necessarily want you to move your residency away or change advisors simply because of that. So it can be confusing, and you have to be up to date on it.
Well, that's great advice, Elise. And we're really excited to have you as a regular partner on the show. So we'll be checking in with you every week. So let everybody know once again how to get in touch with you.
You can reach me at 651-300-2456 or my website at Azure, A-Z-U-R-E, wealthmanagement.com. And I'm always here for free consultations. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help you.
You can also get a hold of her at Ask the Expert section on realtalktwincities.com. Thanks again, Elise, from AzureWealthManagement.com. You can reach her at 651-300-2456. So, pretty good stuff, huh, Cheryl?
Great advice.
I expect all of you to take that advice.
I know,
Yeah.
that's my New Year's resolution, to follow Elise's advice.
In a lot of areas. No.
And you won't need another mammogram to.
I'm good for a year.
Okay.
I need a mortgage checkup.
Right. Well, hey.
And I will not be getting involved with that, Cheryl.
I just want y'all to know none of you are my beneficiaries.
Oh, Donna.
Oh,
Dang it.
that's all right.
Oh, you got enough.
So a lot of myths out there, and part of our program every week is myth versus reality. And today's myth is that when you refinance, doesn't really matter when you close, right? Just, you start the new loan, you pay off the old one, you pay the interest up to the day that you close, and then you start on the new one, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, don't you just think about your schedule and decide the best time to take a day off to come in and see you?
Yes, with conventional loans. However, with FHA loans, it's completely different. And the reason is because the government, in their infinite wisdom or perhaps inability to, I don't know.
To
I don't know
balance
why,
their
but
checkbook.
that could be. But what I'm getting at is that if you have an FHA loan and you're going to a conventional refinance, which a lot of people are doing right now, getting rid of the mortgage insurance, dropping their payment, you will pay the entire months of interest regardless of the day you close. So,
That could be double.
Could be
Exactly.
hundreds of dollars.
it definitely is hundreds of dollars, if approaching 1,000 in some cases. That's the difference. So with FHA, you want to close at or as close as you can to the end of the month, and that way you might double up a few days of interest, but not an entire month. So there's some good
Good tip.
Again, FHA loan, close at the end of the month.
That's great advice. And so if you contact us to help you buy your next home, Donna and I have got that on our radar. We're going to make sure that we're not going to schedule that closing too early so you end up paying double. And if you're thinking about refinancing, Eric is there
Right.
for you.
There's a lot of confusion. You get a lot of advice. I've noticed that people call with their heads full of stuff from their uncles or their parents, and you don't want to screw up and you don't want to get ripped off, and so get a hold of me and I'll give you the straight answer.